Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Mustache MMA. Welcome to episode 13 of Best Bets, UFC Fight Night Andrade versus Lemos. Going to go through each of these fights on the card and kind of pick apart the sports books and potentially select a couple bets that I may like for the card and for each of the fights. May take a pass on some of the fights if I don't like it. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Before I jump into this current card, I do just want to quick go over the results from last week, which were pitiful. So as you can see, overall here, I went 1 for 14, 1 of 15 bets, 13 units in play, only returned 1.8. Like I said, pitiful. My negative 11.2 units on that card. As you can see, that was by far my worst card of the entire year. But yeah, I had a couple bad breaks in it, and I'll go over them like briefly. But you can also see here, April were actually not too bad in the negative. Only about 6 units in the negative for April so far, and we're still well in the positive for the year, up over 18 units. So still sitting pretty solid, but that card definitely took a big hurt, if you will. So going specifically into the best bets, so they were 1 for 8, 9.5 units in play, 1.8 return, so negative 7.7 units there. And again, similar thing here. As you can see, April not doing too hot, negative 7.81 units in the hole so far. But on the year, we are still up a little bit over 5 units for UFC bets. So although we had a terrible card, still in the positive. Going into the specific bets, and some of them were kind of big deal breakers. So the only win I had on the card was Barnett and Boudet fight to start the second. So that one cashed. All the other ones did not hit. So we had a half unit on a Boudet KO TKO second or third. We got screwed because Boudet threw the illegal shot. He was gonna finish Barnett. He had at least like 3 minutes left to work in that round. It was looking very bad for Barnett. Barnett said he thought he broke his ribs between the second and the third round. Very likely we're going to cash that if Boudet doesn't throw that illegal shot and we go to the technical decision. So bummer on that one. We would have got a little good return on that. Loss on Aoriqileng Kroom, fight goes distance. Kroom gets starched in the first round in the first 30 seconds. Didn't see that coming. Garcia Ronson, fight goes distance, also no good. Garcia got that sub in the second towards the end of the round. Close via decision. Close just absolutely steamrolled his guy. I believe he got it done in the first, not the second, so I might have written that incorrectly. Clark Knight fight goes the distance. This one was also kind of a bit of a bummer. Clark got the KO in the third. I believe there was about, I'm not sure how much was left. The over 2.5 definitely hit, though. So we were close to hitting that one. Didn't hit it. It is what it is. That one wasn't a little bit of a bad break, but not as bad as these other two. Baeza money line over 1.5. That was a loss. Fiallo got that KO. Barriault Ormagadzia fight goes distance. Again, the technical decision screws us over. There was a minute left in this fight. Barriault threw the illegal knee on a downed opponent. Technical decision. So both technical decisions we lost money on, and there was a parlay that also had Boudet inside the distance, which likely would have hit. Again, it's likely, very likely, these would have hit, but potentially they could have not. But I'm likely to say that they would have hit if these actually played out without these illegal strikes that were thrown. So yeah, unlucky there as well. And then Luque money line also lost. Mohammed just came out with a solid game plan and got it done. But yeah, that is pretty much it for that card. Let's get into Lemos versus Andrade. First fight on the card, Dean Barry versus Mike Jackson. So I don't have any straight bets for this one. I don't see too much value anywhere here. I mean, Dean Barry is such a heavy favorite. You got to dig into the props to find something you really do like. I think people do like the under, but I've also heard people liking the over. I'm not sure and convinced, but I do like Dean Barry by KO TKO. It's a little pricey, though, minus 165. I mean, he should be able to go out there and knock out a guy like Mike Jackson, who doesn't have much experience at all. I mean, Mike Jackson is more of a striker for sure, but I mean, if who did he fight? And he literally just fought last card, or 2 cards ago. And for whatever reason, I'm always blanking on these guys' names. Mickey Gall. So he fought Mickey Gall, and that was before Mickey Gall had any striking and got dropped instantly and then got submitted. Mike Jackson did. So, and he couldn't put CM Punk away. I mean, like, his striking just isn't that good. Again, that was years ago, but I mean, I don't think he's anything that special. Dean Barry, he's got extensive kickboxing background on top of his, slight MMA career so far. I think he should be able to get this one done by KO TKO, but I'm not betting it. Threw it on a parlay instead. But yeah, no straight bet for me. And a pass on this fight in terms of betting. Moving up the card, we got Marcin Prachnio versus Philipe Lins. So I actually got 2 bets on this one because I like a couple different plays. So I got 1 unit on over 1.5, minus 150 on DraftKings. A little bit of line movement on this as well. So you might want to get on it sooner rather than later. I think both these guys are pretty durable and tough, honestly, and I don't think Marcin Prachnio is much of a finisher. He did finish Ike Villanueva, but I mean, everyone finishes Ike Villanueva, and Prachnio does have some potential chin questions for sure. He's been knocked out numerous times in his career, but sorry, brain fart. He's been knocked out numerous times in his career, a couple to decent performance fighters, and a couple to not so decent fighters as well. But Philipe Lins, he does have some power in his hands for sure, but he just doesn't throw volume, man. And I just don't see him being able to get the knockout. If he does, I think it'll come later. So I like the over 1.5. I think both these guys are tough and durable to get over that point and survive until that point. I do like it to go the distance probably, but play it safe over 1.5 in case Lins does land a big shot on Prachnio, or Prachnio maybe lights him up with the volume. Either could happen. So 1 unit over 1.5, minus 150 on DraftKings. And then I also am throwing a half unit on Prachnio by decision, plus 400 on DraftKings. Yeah, I just like Prachnio to out volume Lins over 3 rounds, and I think it's as simple as that. Lins could connect on maybe one of those rounds and get a knockdown on Prachnio. Hopefully he doesn't put him away, but if he doesn't, I think Prachnio, like I said, just going to out volume him. Lins just struggles to throw anything, and not going to look good in the judges' scorecards if it goes there, which I think it does. And I heavily favor Prachnio to get that nod. So a half unit play on Prachnio by decision plus 400. Moving up the card, we got Preston Parsons versus Evan Elder. I got no bets for this one, guys. I don't even think this one's on the books as of yet. So I wouldn't even be interested in betting it either way. I didn't do a separate episode of the breakdown for this one, so I will just kind of briefly go over it. Preston Parsons, really high-level grappling guy. He's fought some pretty good competition and had a pretty decent wins in his previous on his resume. Ignacio Bahamundos, he got a finish over. I believe all 9 of his wins are via finish from submission, so really good submission artist. Going up against Evan Elder. Dude's undefeated. He just hasn't fought that great level of competition, to be honest. And I think that's going to really play a factor in here. I like Preston Parsons here. I think he gets it done pretty easily. That's my official breakdown prediction. Again, no bets on this one. Not going to play anything on that. Sorry, there's always a thing that comes up the top of my screen that you guys can't see that blocks me from going over to the next tab. Next fight, we got Aoriqileng versus Cameron Else. I like my favorite play here, and what I'm going to play is 1 unit on Aoriqileng to win in round 1 or 2, plus 130 over on DraftKings. Cameron Else, man, he hasn't gone past the 2nd round in his entire career. Actually, he does have 1 decision loss on his career very early, and that's it. So he tends to finish his opponents early if he wins. And if he doesn't win, he tends to get finished early, first or second round. Aoriqileng, very good striker here. He's got power in his hands as well. He throws good volume and pretty violently. I think the only edge here is Cameron House has maybe the grappling edge, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get it to the ground. And I think Aoriqileng has a good wrestling to keep it on the feet. And I think he's going to light Cameron Else up on the feet and probably get him out of there, either in the first or second round, hence the bet. So I'm pretty confident in that, and I like that play. So official unit, Aoriqileng, to win in the first or second round, plus 130 on DraftKings. Moving on to the card, we got Tyson Pedro versus Ike Villanueva. This one's going to be a pass for me. Reason being, again, it's similar to the Dean Barry fight. I mean, we just got a heavy favorite here, and it's really tough to dig into the books and get some good value on some prop bets. Now, I do like the Pedro sub prop at plus 180 on DraftKings. I think that has pretty decent value. I just don't like it as a straight bet because I'm not too confident here. I think Tyson Pedro gets it done inside the distance for sure, but that's sitting at minus 330, and I'm not willing to lay any coin on that. But I do like the sub prop. I think it's probably a 50-50 shot. I'm very confident he gets it done inside the distance, and I think it's a 50-50 shot of him getting a sub or a KO. I'm just not sure which one. And I also wouldn't put Villanueva past him. You know, he's got some power in his hands. Although he's not the most technical, I mean, he could potentially put the lights out of Pedro. He's been out of commission for 3 years, first fight in 3 years. Villanueva could come out here, swing heavy, land, connect, knockout. Wouldn't put that past the outcome either, but I do like that Pedro sub, but I'm not going to play it as a straight bet. Threw that in a parlay. So yeah, passing on the straight bets on this card or that fight. Moving up the card, we got Dwight Grant versus Sergey Khandozhko. I like Dwight Grant here, and I like the money line play. So give me Grant money line plus 105 over on BetMGM. I just think Dwight Grant is overall a better striker, and this one is going to be a striking match. Dwight Grant also can mix in the wrestling and get some takedowns as well, but he doesn't usually go to his wrestling too often or too much. But I like Dwight Grant here. I think he has the power edge. I think he is kind of the striking edge overall. The only thing I may question a little bit is the volume that he throws, which is why a lot of his fights you'll see go to split decisions. He just doesn't throw a lot of volume, but he does throw heavy and he does connect hard sometimes. Sergey, I mean, also Sergey hasn't fought a much the level competition that Dwight Grant has, and Dwight Grant has had some very competitive fights with a lot of top level competition. So I like Dwight Grant to get this one done. Just give me the money line plus 105 on BetMGM. I think that's a good one unit on that guy. Moving up the card, we got Jourdain Wright versus Marc-Andre Barriault. So I'm throwing 1 unit on fight to end by KO TKO, minus 125 over on DraftKings. There's money coming on this. Earlier today, it was minus 115, jumped up to minus 125. So that's what we're locking in as right now. Man, I think this is a very safe play. Reason being, I think Jourdain Wright is live for a knockout in the first round. He always comes out guns blazing. Either you're going to knock me out or I'm going to knock you out. Let's go. Puts on a crazy high pace, high pressure fight. Marc-Andre Barriault coming off a pretty hefty KO himself almost 2 months ago. So it hasn't been too much time for him to be able to recover. That chin still could be questionable from that. So Jourdain Wright could get knocked out in the first, or he could get the knockout in the first. And if this one goes past the first round, expect Jourdain Wright to gas. I mean, he hasn't been out of like the first round at all in his entire career. Only once, and he was essentially like out already, and it was like against Joaquin Buckley, who just finished him in the first 30 seconds of the second round. So I like Jourdain Wright here to, like I said, get the early knockout or even get knocked out in the first. If not, I think he'll gas in the second and the third. Marc-Andre Barriault has great cardio. He's going to be able to push on the pace after that first round, and he is probably live to get the knockout in the second or the third because Jordan Wright expended all his energy in the first to get the knockout. So I think this is a very safe play, and I like it a lot. So 1 unit, fight ends by KO TKO, -125 over on DraftKings. Moving up the card, we got Charles Jourdain versus Lando Vannata. This one, throwing 1 unit on fight goes the distance, -165 over on DraftKings. Both of these guys are super tough, super durable. Yes, they throw hard. Yes, they throw heavy, but Lando Vannata is somewhat of a decision machine since he's been in the UFC. He's had a couple finishes, I believe, in his career, but one that was like a spinning back kick. I mean, that is something that's going to probably knock someone out. And Jourdain has been finished a couple times, but I believe only due to submission. Lando Vannata, not much of a submission artist. Again, both these guys are tough, durable. I think they're going to be able to handle each other's shots. It is a little chalky at -165, but I still like the price. I still think the outcome is a decision for either one of these guys. Lean Charles Jourdain, but it's going to be close for sure. So yeah, 1 unit, fight goes the distance, -165 on DraftKings, Vannata, Jourdain. Moving up the card, we got Alexander Romanov versus Chase Sherman. So for this one, again, I don't have any plays. It got to the books late, and again, we have a gigantic favorite in Alexander Romanov. He's sitting over at -1,400 favorite. It's ridiculous. I don't think there's going to be any value in anything we want to play here. Maybe you want to hit a Romanov submission, and inside the distance play is going to be a heavy minus play for sure. I don't know, maybe a sub, maybe a knockout, but it's coin flip. Maybe pick the one with the better odds. But again, this one's a pass for me. I don't like anything on it. Moving to the card, we got Maycee Barber versus Montana De La Rosa. This one's also a pass for me. I think it's a close fight, and I do actually lean De La Rosa to get this one done. But at the same time, Maycee Barber has shown, at least in her last fight, that she's able to hold off an aggressive wrestler and grappler in in Miranda Maverick. So it could potentially pose difficulties for Montana De La Rosa to be able to get this one to the ground, work her grappling game. I still lean her. I still like it, but I actually threw her decision prop in a parlay instead of playing it straight. So yeah, overall with the straight bets, it's a pass for me on this one. Moving up the card, we got Clay Guida versus Claudio Puelles. I'm going to go with 1 unit on Guida by decision, +150 over on DraftKings. I just don't think Claudio Puelles is that good, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't really seem all that good. He just pulls out knee bars in the third rounds and gets the win every time. Clay Guida has a really good grappling defense. He also puts on a high pressure, high pace that Claudio isn't going to be able to keep up with. He has good wrestling to stuff the terrible takedowns that Puelles throws at him. He's going to be able to keep it on the feet for the majority of the time. If not, pop right back up to his feet if a takedown is secured by Puelles. So yeah, I really like Clay Guida here to just kind of piece him up on the feet and get that decision victory. So yeah, official 1 unit play, Guida by decision, +150 over on DraftKings. Moving on to the main event. Hold up here. We got to go back because we are missing some fights. Unless I just figured out that this was canceled. Cape just withdrew. That sucks because that was a fun fight. Damn. And are we missing another one? I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Okay. So that was the only one we're missing. That sucks because we had to play on that, but it is what it is. Okay. So anyway, main event here. We got Amanda Lemos versus Jessica Andrade. Debated on this one for a while, but I ended up going with this play. 1 unit on fight ends by KO TKO, -110. You can get it on DraftKings or FanDuel, your choice. Both these girls got power. Both these girls like to trade in the pocket. But one of them, I think, is going to go down. The first round is probably going to be fireworks. Could go either way. And then slowly, you'll see probably Andrade just take over as the rounds go on. I think Lemos doesn't necessarily have the cardio to be able to put on that pace for all 5 rounds. Just Andrade can work in a wrestling and a grappling as well, potentially get a ground and pound in there. So yeah, I think it's live for either of them to get it early within the first 2 rounds. And then the last 3 rounds, I think Andrade is also live for KO. So I like that play a lot as well. I think eventually one of these ladies is going to get the other out of there. So 1 unit, fight ends by KO TKO, -110 on DraftKings and or FanDuel. All right. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Appreciate you all. If you don't mind hitting that sub button and that like button, it would help me out a lot. Let me know down in the comments who you are playing, what kind of bets you're playing for this card. I'd love to hear it. Check out my parlay plays video that will be coming out later today as well. I'm going to create a couple different variations of parlays that I will be playing for this card. Appreciate you guys for watching and subscribing and liking and commenting. I will see you soon. Peace out.